Section 1.4 is on simplifying algebraic expressions. So in order to translate a real-world situation into an algebraic expression, we must first determine the action being described. So I have four actions here grouped with their operation and then possible context clues that you might see in your questions to try to help you decide whether you should add, subtract, multiply, or divide. So if you're going to combine, then you're going to need to add. And a question might be how many total, whatever the question's talking about, it might say how many in total do you have. And then combine equal groups means that we're going to multiply. If we have three groups of three, then we're going to have to multiply 3 times 3. And the question at the end might be how many altogether. The other action word is separate. We have just plain separate, and then we have separate into equal groups. So if it's just separating something, we're going to subtract. And the question you might see is how many more, or how many are remaining, things like that. And then if it says separate into equal groups, or if that's the action that you have to take, then you're going to divide because you're going to break things, a larger group up into smaller groups. And the question might say something along the lines of how many in each group. Okay. So for example 1, it says write an algebraic expression to represent each situation. The first one is the distance remaining for a runner after m miles of a 26.2 mile marathon. So a couple things I want to talk about here. The first thing is algebraic expression. An algebraic expression, algebraic means that we have to have a variable or at least one. And then expression is just the problem without the equal sign. So we're not solving, we're just writing down what would the problem look like. So the distance remaining for a runner after m miles of a 26.2 mile marathon. So I'm going to start with, we know the total is 26.2. And this person has already ran m miles. So they want to know what is the distance remaining. So we're going to have to take off or subtract the m miles they already ran. So 26.2 minus m there. I cannot get a dot there. Part B, the number of hours it takes to fly 1,800 miles at an average rate of n miles per hour. So we know we have 1,800 miles to go, and we also know that we're going n miles each hour. So I want to divide this number of miles up to figure out how many hours it's going to take to cover all of those 1,800 miles. So our starting point is 1,800. We know that that's our large number that we're starting with. And we're going to divide it by n, which is our miles per hour, and that will give us how many hours it would take us. And showing you the miles, and this is miles per hour, the miles would cancel. We have a mile at the top and a mile at the bottom, so then we'd have just hours left over in our units, and so that therefore we kind of know where we have the correct answer here. All right, next on our list of things to talk about is the order of operations, or PEMDAS. You guys have been doing this for quite some time, so just a refresher here. PEMDAS stands for, the P stands for parentheses and any other grouping symbols that are in your problem. The E stands for exponents. The M stands for multiply, and then the D stands for divide. And you have to do those left to right. And then the A stands for adding, and S stands for subtracting. And again, those are from left to right. Okay, so you have to use those as you go through these problems. So evaluate each expression for the given values of the variable. So this first one, we have x plus 3xy minus 2y, 4x is 4, and y is 7. So they tell us what the variables mean, and we have to go through and plug those in. So x is 4 plus 3 times our x, which is another 4. Our y is 7 minus 2y, so another 7 there. So now we go through the order of operations. P stands for parentheses. I have a couple of sets of parentheses here, but that's just to show multiplication. There's nothing inside of them that we can simplify. Then next is E, exponents. We don't have any of those. And then next would be the multiplying and the dividing. So we want to multiply here, and we want to multiply here. So 3 times 4 would be 12, and then 12 times 7 would be 84. And then over here we have -2 times 7, and that would give us -14. And we didn't do anything with that 4 out front, so we're going to bring that down. And then, so we've done the multiplying, there's no dividing. Adding and subtracting from left to right, that's all we have left. So we're going to add and then subtract here. 4 plus 84 would be 88. And then we have to minus 14 from that. And that would give us 74. And then for our second part of this question, we have b squared times z minus 2bz plus z squared. For b is 6 and z is 2. So we're going to go through and plug in all the numbers we know. Anywhere there's a b, we are going to put a 6, and anywhere there's a z, we're going to put a 2. So 6 squared, z is 2, minus 2 times 6 times 2 plus 2 squared. So now we're going to go through parentheses, again, just showing multiplication with those. So nothing to simplify with them. E is exponents, so we have a couple of those. We have 6 squared and we have 2 squared. 6 squared would give us 36, and 2 squared would give us 4. I'm just going to copy everything else down here. And then after exponents, we have multiplication and division. I don't see any division, so we're going to have to go through and multiply. We have 2 different spots where we have to do that. 36 times 2 would give us 72. And -2 times 6 times 2 would be -12 times 2 would be -24. And then we have that plus 4 at the end. So 72 minus 24, oops, that's a 6, would be 48. And then 48 plus that 4 would give us 52 for our final answer. Another vocab word to look at is like terms. And like terms have the same variables raised to the same exponents. So if you had me back in middle school, we had talked about these and we called them friends. We had to put all the friends together that were the exact same. So for example 3, we're going to have to simplify this expression. We're going to go through, I'm going to look at, I have an x squared, so I'm going to go through and see if we have any other x squareds, and I have a positive 7x squared. This x squared is actually 1, so 1 plus 7 would be 8x squared. Then I have a positive 5x, and I'm going to look for other x's, and I don't see any. That's the only one. So we're going to bring down plus 5x. And then the last thing I have here is a positive 2y. It's the only thing left in our problem, so it does not have any like terms to combine. We just bring it down, and that would be our final answer. Here, for part B, we're going to have to distribute this b. So I'm going to have to do b times 5a squared. So there's nothing to actually multiply. We're just going to add the b on to that 5a squared times b at the end. And then we're going to multiply that b by the -2a, and the same thing there. There's nothing to multiply a b by, so we just add it on. So 2ab. And then we have minus 11a squared b plus 2ab. Then we can go through and combine like terms. So I'm going to look at 5a squared b. I see this -11a squared b. So 5 minus 11 would give me negative 6a squared b's. And then I have a negative 2ab and a positive 2ab. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0, so we don't need to include that in our answer. So this would be our final answer, negative 6a squared b. Example 4 says that a travel agent is selling 100 discount packages. He makes $50 for each Hawaii package and $80 for each Cancun package. Write an expression to represent the total the agent will make selling a combination of the two packages. If he were to sell all 100 discount packages to go to Cancun, that would be a total of $8,000 because 100 times 80 is 8,000. So that's the most that he could make. And then if he sells any of those packages to go to Hawaii, he's actually going to lose $30 each package because the difference between 80 and 50 is 30. So he's going to lose $30 for each Hawaii package that he sells. So we're going to say minus 30H. So that would be our expression. 8,000 is the most he could make, and then we're going to take off that $30 per Hawaii package that he sells. And then how much will he make if he sells 28 Hawaii packages? So we're going to plug in 28 here. So we're going to do 8,000 minus 30 times 28. And 30 times 28 is going to be 840. So we're going to have to do 8,000 minus 840. And when we do that, we are going to get $7,160.